Okay, now it's time to put the center bar on my cinch. So the first thing I did is I marked the center. So I just marked the center with a permanent marker. And then I just did 2 rows of plain twining across. And I started back for my 3rd row. And this is where I want to add my D's. Now your D's go on the 3rd warp. And they sit on top of it. Not on the side, not behind, on top. So this one is going around behind. And I did have a note that I cut 20 feet of cord to do the center bar. So this again is where it is handy to make a note of how much it takes you. So you want to do 2 or 3 rows of twining and then put your D on. So I'm on my 3rd one right here, and this is the one that goes over the 3rd warp, so it has to go over that D. So you're going to pretend like that D is part of that 3rd warp. Only one cord goes around that D, not both of them. So you're going to have it sitting on top, and it's kind of awkward until you get a few rows done. And you have kind of a long cord to work with too. So, and the one thing about the center bar is you don't have anything to press down against. So, oops, wrong one. So you want to be careful when you're pressing down, and you keep your line horizontal. You may have to press up from the bottom and down from the top. So trying to keep my hands out of the way so you can see. Doesn't always give you the best view. Okay, so now we're coming up on the 3rd one, and this one is going to go behind the 3rd one, and this one is going to go in front of the 3rd one, so it's going to go through that D. So remember, it's going to sit on the front side. It's going to go through that D, and then you're going to go around behind the next one. Just keep twining. Just remember that the D's become part of that 3rd warp. Pull it nice and firm. And then again, at the end, you want to make sure both of them go around that outside warp. This one is going to go behind that 3rd warp. And this one is going in front of it, so it needs to go through it. So now I have 2 cords going through it. So then you just keep on, see, you've got 2 cords going through the D now. So I'm just going to keep on twining across. And you want to try to hit that center mark with the center of your center bar, middle of your center bar. But if you don't, you can adjust it a little bit. So I'm just regular twining across here. And then when I come to the 3rd warp, this one's going to go behind. And this one is going to go over, so it's going to go over my D. So now I have 2 going over that D, and it's sitting on top of that third warp. So again, when I go around, go behind that third warp. This one goes in front of the third warp, so it's going to go through the D. And then I'm just going to keep on twining across, remembering that when I go on top of that third warp, it's going to go through that D. So you want to see how it needs to be packed down pretty firmly. So I pack mine down from the top and I pack it down from the bottom so it stays pretty firmly packed. So I'm just going to keep on twining like this and through the D's, and I'll catch you when I just about have it finished. Okay, I have finished 9 rows over the top of the D. So I did 2 rows plain, then I did 9 rows over the top of the D, and you should be able to do 8 or 9. And then do 2 more rows on top of the D's. So you can see the D's are firmly attached to the third warp. Now there are other ways of attaching the D's. This is an easy way that you don't have to have any extra equipment for. So now that I've done, nice and tight, now that I've done 9 rows over the D, I'm going to do 2 rows of plain on top of the D, that is. And then I'm going to measure again. I'm going to measure and make sure that 11 inches is in the middle. So I want to make sure that my center bar is right in the center. And if it isn't, you can kind of adjust it by packing it down a little bit from the top, pulling it up from the bottom. And if it's way far off, you can actually pull on these warps one at a time and get it to move up or down. So try to get your center bar in the center so that your D's are firmly attached, and then I'll just do 2 more rows on top of the D. So thank you for watching.